The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Elena stepped forward, her boots echoing against the crystalline floor. Beside her, Braxton stood with his arms crossed, his jaw set in that particular way that told her he was already done with the posturing. The Valdren High Commander, all 7 feet of scaled authority, looked down at the two humans with what could only be described as contempt. "You claim your species deserves a seat on this council." His voice rumbled through the translation matrix. "Yet you have no scars to show for it. No marks of true warfare. No proof of survival." Elena exchanged a glance with Braxton. His eyebrow quirked up, the look that said these idiots have no idea what they're asking for. Around the circular chamber, representatives from 43 species watched with varying degrees of interest. The Minari, crystalline beings who communicated through light patterns, pulsed with curiosity. The Thesian hive mind buzzed softly, their collective attention focused on the humans. Even the ancient keepers, who rarely spoke, leaned forward in their energy fields. "Scars," Elena repeated, her voice calm but carrying an edge that made several delegates shift uncomfortably. "You want to see humanity's battle scars?" "The Galactic Council has existed for 12,000 cycles," the Valdren continued, his crest flaring with pride. "Every species here has earned their place through trials of survival. The Minari endured the crystal plagues. The Thexians survived the hive wars. My own people fought off the void swarms for 3 generations." He gestured dismissively at the humans. "Your kind has been in space for barely 2 centuries. What could you possibly know of true conflict?" Braxton let out a short laugh, the kind that held no humor. "Commander, you really want to go down this road? Show us your scars, human," the Valdren demanded. "Prove your species has faced real adversity. Or withdraw your application and return to your little corner of the galaxy." The chamber erupted in murmurs. Some species seemed sympathetic to humanity's position, but most appeared to agree with the Valdren's assessment. The humans were newcomers, untested, unproven. Elena stepped back and nodded to Braxton. He rolled his shoulders, then reached down and pulled his shirt over his head. The chamber went silent again, but this time it was different. This time it was shocked that Braxton's torso was a roadmap of human history written in scar tissue. Burn marks from plasma weapons ran across his left side. A long surgical scar bisected his abdomen, testimony to emergency battlefield medicine. Shrapnel scars dotted his ribs like constellations. This one, Braxton pointed to a jagged mark near his collarbone. "Mars Rebellion, 2247. Close quarters combat in pressurized tunnels. Lost 30% of my unit when the dome breached." He turned slightly, revealing his back. The delegates gasped, something rare in a council chamber. His spine bore the distinctive pattern of neural reconstruction surgery, surrounded by burns that looked like they'd come from energy weapons. "Ganymede conflict, 2251, he continued matter-of-factly. "Got caught in a reactor explosion. Died for 4 minutes before they got my heart started again." Elena stepped forward, her voice carrying across the stunned chamber. "You asked which war we're talking about, Commander. That's the problem. We have to ask because we've fought so many." She pulled up a holographic display from her wrist computer. Images flooded the air above the council floor. Battles, wars, conflicts spanning millennia. Before we even left our planet, we fought ourselves. The 100 Years' War. The 30 Years' War. 2 world wars that killed over 100 million of our own people. We invented weapons that could destroy our entire world, then somehow managed not to use them, mostly. The images shifted, showing space battles, colony conflicts, mining station sieges. When we reached space, did we stop fighting? No. We fought over Mars, over the asteroid belt, over every moon and colony and station we built. The Europa water wars killed 40,000. The belt's secession lasted 12 years. The Venus terraforming conflict is still going. Braxton pulled his shirt back on, his expression hard. And that's just human versus human. You want to talk about external threats? We've been in space for 2 centuries, and we've already faced off against the Kryn Raiders, the Zephan Plague ships, and the Outer Rim pirates. But here's what you don't understand, Elena said, her voice dropping to something that made even the Valdren lean back slightly. Every one of those scars, every one of those wars, we survived. We adapted. We overcame. That's what humans do. We don't have one great war in our history that defines us. We have thousands. And we're still here. She pulled up her own sleeve, revealing a long scar that ran from wrist to elbow. Titan Station Massacre, 2253. I was a medic. Held a surgical bay for 6 hours against raiders while evacuating 200 civilians. Lost 3 fingers that day. Grew them back with stem therapy, but the scar stays. The Minari pulsed with a pattern that translated as profound respect. The Thesian hive mind's buzzing took on a different tone, something like awe. The ancient keeper who had been silent throughout the proceedings finally spoke, their voice like wind through crystal. The Valdrin asked to see your scars as proof of worthiness. They assumed you would have none, or perhaps a few from minor skirmishes. But you carry the scars of a species that has fought for every inch of survival, not against one enemy, but against everything, including yourselves. The Keeper's energy field brightened. This is not a species that has been tested once and found adequate. This is a species that tests itself constantly and refuses to break. The Valdrin commander's crest had flattened against his skull, a sign of submission that Elena had never expected to see. I withdraw my objection, he said slowly. Any species that can survive itself is worthy of this council. Braxton caught Elena's eye and smirked. Should we tell them about the time humans fought a war over a bucket? Not helping, Brax, Elena muttered, but she couldn't suppress her own smile. The council voted. 43 voices, 43 species, 43 different sounds that all meant the same thing. Humanity had earned its place as they left the chamber. Braxton rolled his shoulder, working out a kink. You know what the funny thing is? These are just my scars from military service. Didn't even mention the childhood stuff. Elena laughed, a real laugh this time. Yeah, somehow I don't think I broke my arm falling out of a tree when I was 8 has quite the same impact. Speak for yourself. I've got a scar from chickenpox. Survived a disease our ancestors thought was just part of growing up. That's pretty badass if you think about it. They walked down the crystalline corridor, 2 humans marked by their species' long, violent, stubborn history of survival. Behind them, the council chamber buzzed with new respect for the scarred species from Sol. Three humanity hadn't just arrived at the galactic stage. They'd fought, bled, died, and clawed their way there. And their scars proved it.